नहमदुहु व नसल्ली अला रसूलिहिल करीम अम्मा बाद औज़ु बिल्लाहि मिनश शैतानिर रजीम बिस्मिल्लाहिर रहमानिर रहीम। अजीज साथियों, अस्सलाम वालेकुम रहमतुल्लाहि व बरकातुहू। उर्दू कम्युनिटी बहरैन आप तमाम का एक बार फिर से खैर मकदम करता है। आज के हमारे इस वीकली दर्स में इसका मौजू है बी एक्स्ट्रा ऑर्डिनरी, और जो आज के हमारे मेहमान खुसूसी हैं वो भी कोई ऑर्डिनरी नहीं है, वो भी एक्स्ट्रा ऑर्डिनरी हैं। और जिनका तारुफ है सैयद फैजुल्ला साहब, जो एक इलेक्ट्रिकल इंजीनियर हैं और सर्टिफाइड ट्रेनर, जो लगभग 20 साल से इस ट्रेनिंग की फील्ड में हैं। सॉफ्ट ट्रेनिंग्स एंड लगभग 200 प्लस इन्होंने वर्कशॉप्स किया है, और लगभग 12 से ज़्यादा कंपनीज में इन्होंने ट्रेनिंग भी की है। तो हम अपने प्रोग्राम को आगे बढ़ाने के लिए हम पहले कुरान पाक की तिलावत करेंगे, जिसके लिए मैं दावत दूंगा अपने भाई रब्बानी को कि आए और कुरान पाक की तिलावत पेश करें।
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. أرأيت الذي يكذب بالدين فذلك الذي يدع اليتيم ولا يحض على طعام المسكين فويل للمصلين الذين هم عن صلاتهم ساهون الذين هم يراءون ويمنعون الماعون. पढ़ी गई आयतों का तर्जुमा है। तुमने देखा उस शख्स को जो आखिरत की जजा व सजा को झुठलाता है, वही तो है जो यतीम को धक्के देता है और मिस्कीन का खाना देने पर नहीं उकसाता। फिर तभी है फिर तबाही है उन नमाज पढ़ने वालों के लिए जो अपनी नमाज से गफलत बरतते हैं, जो रियाकारी दिखावा करते हैं और मामूली ज़रूरत की चीज़ें लोगों को देने से गुरेज करते हैं। जज़ाकल्लाह खैर।
जज़ाकल्लाह
सदक़ल्लाहुल
खैर। बड़ी भाई, अब हम आगे बढ़ते हैं आज के प्रोग्राम की तरफ। मैं दावत दूंगा अपने आज के मेहमान खुसूसी सैयद फैजुल्ला साहब को कि आए और अपने ख्यालात को हमारे सामने पेश करें। जज़ाकल्लाह खैर।
बिस्मिल्लाह। शेयर कर देता हूँ पहले स्क्रीन में।
जी फैजुल्ला साहब, आप शेयर कर रहे
एक
हैं ना?
मिनट। मैं शेयर कर रहा हूँ, थोड़ा सा 1 मिनट दें, ट्राई कर रहा हूँ मैं थोड़ा सा।
हम स्क्रीन देख सकते हैं।
देख सक रहे हैं? अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह, चलिए इंशाल्लाह। अच्छा, बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम। रब्बिश्रह ली सदरी वयस्सिर ली अमरी वहलुल उक़दतम मिन लिसानी यफ़क़हू क़ौली। Assalamu alaikum and welcome to all of you who have taken this extraordinary step of devoting an extraordinary time for your personal development. My background is actually an electrical engineer from Bangalore, India, and I spent majority of my life being an ordinary person. And this is the reason I developed this training in order to inform, educate, entertain, and inspire and impact all of you, not to just live a life of ordinary human beings. We are actually born in this world to lead an extraordinary life. What is that extraordinary life? And what is the difference between an ordinary and an extraordinary is also my life story. As I told you, in my earlier life, I was living a good life. I was an excellent engineer, electrical engineer, passed out in one of the best universities. I was a rank holder. Everything was good and going well, except that something was missing in my life. That missing piece is what I discovered in the year 2004. As you see in this diagram, you see a fish trying to jump from a small container to a bigger container, trying to get something bigger and extraordinary. And that is what happened to me in the year 2004 when I joined an organization called Toastmasters International. As soon as I joined Toastmasters International, and people who were around me encouraged me to speak on stage. Speaking on stage is considered to be number one or number two fear in a human being's life, in a man's or woman's life. Some people consider fear of death to be number one, and others consider fear of public speaking to be number one. So at least number one or number two fear in our lives is the fear of public speaking. But what happened is when I took that bold step of going on the stage and speaking, it was disastrous, but that step helped me to discover what is known as my inner potential, inner power. As I started speaking, I started realizing that something beautiful is happening within my chest. I started realizing that something bigger I can do in life. I just can't, it's not just speaking on stage, but I can handle people, I can do things. All things that I was before started changing. I was an introvert. Probably I was the most introverted person in my family. But once I started speaking, these things started disappearing. The introvertedness started disappearing and confidence started soaring. And I thought, wait. What we have been taught in life so far as take your degree, spend your life as an engineer or a doctor, and do nothing more than that. That's not full comprehension or understanding or living of life. There should be something more than this. And I further took tremendous interest. I put all my passion and power into it. And I got many more things in it. I started facing challenges. Running a Toastmasters club was a challenge. The club was dying. People told me, take up the responsibility of reviving the club. I just did that. I felt sick, but I did not give up. That gave me more strength. and I started growing. I started climbing the ladder of leadership. And then suddenly I realized that life of an engineer is good, but it is not a great life because you have a uh, limited area or aspect to deal with life. But if you are a leader, you're dealing with the entire humanity. You're impacting the entire humanity and helping them to bring the best version of themselves. This is exactly what happened with me. And I started to boost my confidence at every step of my Toastmasters journey. I met the best of the best people in the world who were Toastmasters, who used to come from USA, and trainers in various aspects of life, not just public speaking or leadership, but how to lead a good life, an extraordinary life. And I was forced to think, why not I also become a trainer, a leader, a coach? And I did decide that I should become a trainer and a coach as soon as possible. And that is what propelled me to become a trainer, a leader, a coach. And I started right then and there in Toastmasters to deliver trainings, motivating people, discovering my true selves, and helping others also to discover their own true selves, and helping them also to become from an ordinary person to an extraordinary person. And this was my short introduction. And I hope you have got the essence of what happened to me. And the same can happen to all of you in your lives. It's just a matter of just understanding what life is and taking bold steps to move from ordinary to extraordinary. And as I've shown in this slide, ordinary people are those who are living good lives but have this tendency to blame others, wait for circumstances to become good, to do something great in life. Always, I see a lot of people regress in life. There is always a decline. If they have achieved something, after 20 years, all that achievement is slowly digressing. And then they have an aimless life. What are we supposed to do? Particularly people in Middle East, I've seen lots and lots of people. Suddenly, if the job is lost, what are they to do? There is no aim in life. And then extraordinary people are the opposite of it. I learned all these and I applied. Take responsibility for what happens to your life. Create your own circumstances. Master your life, mindset, heart set, and sound set. By having a vision, mission, and values. And these are the gist of the training that I do. Not only this ordinary to the extraordinary, but any type of training which helps each and every human being in his life to become his best version and lead, as I've said, an inspired, influential, impactful, self-confident, high self-esteem, happy, joyous, and fulfilled life. So let's go into the details of what I'm trying to say. First and foremost, what we have to realize is that we are all born extraordinary. One of the trainers that I've been following for the past at least 19 years, since 2004, since I joined Toastmasters, his name is Bob Proctor. And his book that he has written is You Were Born Rich. What does he mean by saying you are born rich? Not that you're born with a silver spoon or born in palatial buildings. No, no, no. He says you're already rich in your whole system of life. Just imagine that you were born by a selection of one of the 300 million sperms. Isn't it a miracle? And if you're already a miracle, your birth is a miracle, you're supposed to have learned to become an extraordinary person, a person who can, if not create miracles, at least create something extraordinary in your own lives. There is a saying that there are lots of people who lead their lives, say 70, 80, I'm not particular about the length of their lives, but once they leave this world, nobody knows them because they've not done something extraordinary life. They're not left a legacy in their lives. And once you get into this mode of thinking that I have to do something extraordinary in my life, then it starts a process of learning as much as possible and applying in life, and then living and also helping others live an extraordinary life. First and foremost, you are unique. As I said, one of the 300 billion sperms from your father's body was responsible for what you are as a human being. Now, as you're living, your body consists of 100 trillion cells. Your body sends millions of signals per second from your brain. And this is what keeps you alive. This also is an extraordinary thing happening within your body. But what is not happening, what is not extraordinary, is that which I'm going to tell you in the coming slide. So, as I've said in the previous slide, you have unlimited potential and you're supposed to become extraordinary. You are born extraordinary. And as you're born, you're seen each and every child has an extraordinary presence, extraordinary curiosity, extraordinary thirst to become extraordinary. He also imagines that he'll become a Superman at some time in his life. And all these things are done and probably become like as great as a roaring lion. But what happens to most of us? I'm not saying that you or anybody, but it includes me. Even I became ordinary because of a thing called conditioning. And that conditioning turns us into something like, instead of becoming lions and extraordinary, we become meek, like mice. That is ordinary. I was giving the example to people in Saudi Arabia, wherein large number of people are living lives caged in whatever places they are. They're not allowed to do anything, even if they want to, because of the circumstances they have put themselves in. Even though it is not their total responsibility, but initial responsibility was theirs, that they did not endeavor much to become extraordinary and so landed up in these places. And you know the system in Middle East generally, they hire and fire you, and the sponsors, the kafirs, what you call in Middle East, always will be looking for what is known as terminating you from the contract and sending you back. So you will be trying to hide yourself somewhere and try to run away somewhere like an ordinary mice, instead of standing up to the situation that has come up. I'm not saying that you're wrong or bad, but the situation that you have yourself created for yourself lands you in such situations. Why? This is because of a system called conditioning. You saw this child who is very extraordinary and trying to do a lot of things in life and taking initiative and trying to become big, great, a Superman, lion, whatever you want to, but ultimately lands up by something called he wants to do something, is conditioned by his society. I am not saying this is right or wrong or good or bad, but this is the system that in the entire world we live in. Maybe it's different in different places and different countries to a different level, but this is what happens. When a child wants to do something big, the parents condition him to say, for example, a small child wants to drive a car. They say, beta, tum chote ho, bade ho ke karna. And these type of restrictions or conditions or limits are put on the child, and that programs the child in the same way as they are conditioned. And as the child grows up, it's nothing wrong. He has those limitations already built in his brain's functioning. And so he will not be able to think beyond the conditions and limitations that have been put by him, by his society, even though he has grown up and he is now eligible to do bigger things. It's similar to what we have, you must have already seen, a case of a baby elephant. A baby elephant is normally what happens to the baby elephant is, in order to prevent him from running away, they put a chain on him. And when he tries to run away, the chain puts pressure and it pains in his leg. So he tries several times, maybe several hundred times, but he learns that whenever he tries to run away, there is pain in his leg. And so after some time, stops trying to run away. So his brain is programmed, his mind is programmed to think that if he wants to run, there will be pain, so it stops running away. That's the conditioning that has been put on the baby elephant. But what happens is, even though the baby elephant becomes a big elephant, because of his conditioning in the brain or the mind, he never tries to run away. Because he thinks that if he tries to run away, there will be a pain. This is what happens with all of us. When we try to become extraordinary or take up responsibilities, we feel the pain and we don't like to take up those responsibilities. So is there a way to go from ordinary to extraordinary for people like us or people like me and you? And this is the subject of my training here. And I will very confidently say, yes, there is a way. Why I can say? Because the proof is me. I did this. I changed myself from ordinary to extraordinary. I removed the limits put by the society at an age, maybe around 50 years was my age. And once I got that into my mind that I have to change this, I was able to do it. And that's how I'm able to come to this level. And yes, there is a way. And this is the objective of this training. So each and every human being, wherever he is and whatever career he is in or business he is in or whatever age he is in, once it gets into his mind that he can become ordinary to extraordinary, he can start this journey. And of course, it takes time, it takes guidance, it takes a lot of interaction with people. It is, I cannot say it is simple, but not easy. What do you mean by simple? If you want to decide it, it is possible. If your mind doesn't accept it, then it is not at all possible. So it is the mindset that you have to change first, that it is possible. And what you will learn in this trainings, what I do is you have to change your mindset, heart set, and soul set from ordinary to extraordinary, which is what I will do with this type of trainings, in which we have various chapters or modules like discover your true self, take personal responsibility, take action, self-confident and courageous, never give up. And then in the respect to heart set, you have to find your purpose, mission, vision, passion, and path, and find love, etc. Soul set is peace, fulfillment, truthfulness, truth, selfless service, humility, and being connected to the people around you. You don't focus on this only when you want to know further about these things. You can contact me through the organizers, Urdu Community Bahrain, Mr. Mudassir, and get the details of what this training can do for you. So what I'll just give a brief explanation of what I do and how it can be done. And this is the first slide with respect to the execution of this particular thing from ordinary to extraordinary. I start with a quote from Stephen Covey. Stephen Covey attended the training in the year 2004, which is his signature training known as the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Since that day, almost every day, I remember what he taught me, and I try to apply and teach people about the same thing. So what it means is what exactly you want to do in life. So let's explain what exactly you want to do at the end of your life. And this is what I was forced to think after I joined Toastmasters in 2004, that what is my vision of life? What am I supposed to do? And when I'm on my last days of my life, should I think that I did not do this, I did not do that, or if I have made a proper vision and plan executed and say with confidence and humility, oh Allah, you have definitely helped me to do something worthwhile in this world. So that is what is meant by beginning and in mind. We do have a small version of this begin and end of mind, which is not sufficient. Like, for example, when we are children, your parents sort of put in your mind, program in your mind to become a doctor or an engineer. This is part of your vision. I'm not saying it's wrong. It's some good, something good. What exactly is needed? What is that greatness that you have to achieve in life, whether you're a doctor or an engineer or an accountant, or for that matter, any profession, what exactly you want in life, at the end of your life, you should be able to say, I did this. That is what is important. And I would like to remind you that there are 2 important days in your life and 3 important questions that even today I ask each and every day. That is, the first one I would like to remind you is the first day of importance for you is the day you are born. The day you are born is your birthday. That is what the miracle happened, and you came into this earth and your existence started. So everyone remembers that date as a special day. But there is another day which is very, very, very important in your life, and that is the day you discover your purpose of being born, but the purpose of your life in this world. And that is what happened to me in the year 2004. When I started speaking in Toastmasters and interacting with people, I came to know about what is purpose in life, and we have some sort of an understanding of purpose of life. I'm not disputing that, but a specific big purpose. So that's what I say, that I was born again after joining 2004 Toastmasters. I got my clarity of my purpose. That clarity of a purpose was I want to become a trainer and help people to become the best versions. So since then, this is what is my purpose of every day in my life. And then related to that is your 3 important questions. Who are you? Where did you come from? And where are you going? And the majority of the people, if you ask them, who are you, have not been trained. It's not their fault. To understand who are you, they always answer, I'm a doctor, I'm an engineer, I'm an IT professional. It's not a wrong answer. But what is more important is who really you are, your inner self, your purpose of your life. That is what in that module. Where did you come from? And this is very important. What is your background? What's your family background, etc. And where are you going? These 2 are all these questions are interrelated with your important days. And if you can formulate this, then your life becomes very purposeful, peaceful, and meaningful. And you will really enjoy each and every day, but each and every minute of your life. And you will not have this nagging question, what am I supposed to do if I go back to India from Bahrain or go back to whatever it is? Once you develop these things, you will be in a position not only to help yourself, but also to help others around you. So let's give an example. I'll give some examples of people who transform themselves from ordinary to extraordinary by following the processes that I have underlined in the previous slides. And these are all my favorites. I've learned a lot from all this. Maybe each of these have studied for hundreds of hours, almost hundreds of hours almost, to get deep understanding of what exactly they mean by saying whatever they say and how they became from ordinary to extraordinary. The first one is a trainer called Robin Sharma. Robin Sharma was born in Canada in a small town by immigrant Indian parents. And as had happens in those countries, the parents took great care of the child. And as I told you, they wanted the child to become a lawyer. And he was very, very, very happy to fulfill his parents' dream and became a lawyer. Not only did a degree, but master's degree in it, and was going and doing his duty very, very nicely and appreciated and everything. But there was something missing in him. What was that missing in him? And that you can understand when he was trying to put his tie and looking at the mirror, there was some voice in his mind saying, there is something bigger in you. There is something extraordinary in you. Why are you just spending your time as a lawyer? You can do something great in your life. And he could not find an answer immediately, but he was persistent in trying to find that answer. So he started reading books, personal development books. And then after a year, he found that his performance in his office as a lawyer was much better than the people around him. He said, boy, why is this happening? Then he found the reason was that he was reading a lot of books and he intensified his learning. And suddenly that epiphany happened with him when he found that he is his true self or his extraordinary self is to become a trainer. And then he took that bold step of jumping from a small place to a bigger place. He decided he'll become a trainer and he did his best to do it. And you know, it's not easy. I've learned a lot from all these people. When he started his training sessions, he started his training at home. He invited his friends and etc. 20 people, 22 people attended, and 20 of them were his family members. He wrote a book, The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari. I went to the publishers. Publishers said, what is this title? Nobody will read it. We will not publish it. So what he did is he asked his mother to edit it and then self-published it. You know, the struggles he went through. You know, struggles is what make you strong. And later on, after a lot of struggle, he was recognized as a good trainer, an extraordinary trainer. Now he's among top 10 trainers in the world. And all his books have been sold in millions. One training program of his, of say about 5 days, costs about $50,000. He trains the best of the best executives in USA and Canada. So can you imagine that his life changed from ordinary to extraordinary because he'd taken the time to discover his true self and find out the extraordinary talent within him and executed that. So that's what is meant by discovering your true self and reaching to the true potential. The next in line is one of the most favorite trainers, Jim Rohn, again from USA. And Jim Rohn, at the age of 26, he says, was living a life ordinary, and he had a lot of things on his head. His earnings were not sufficient to pay the bills. He was always behind the bills, trying to solve this and trying to solve that. And he was thinking that all this is happening due to the external circumstances. What do you mean the external circumstances? He says the company was not paying him well, the taxes were too high, the inflation was high, the cost of price of living was high. All this is what was in his head until his mentor, Earl Shaw, asked him, "What are you doing, Jim Rohn?" Jim Rohn said, "I'm not doing well because of this reasons." Earl Shaw told him, "My dear Jim Rohn, you missed one item in your list of blames. And that list is that Jim Rohn. You're surprised. I'm not the problem. So you are the problem. All these are not the problems. If you change, circumstances will change. Take responsibility and do as I told you. I tell you." And Jim Brown, he says that the only thing that he did is he applied his the teachings of his mentor 100%. And within 6 years, he became a millionaire. And became one of the topmost trainers in USA. And most of the trainers which are existing today are his students. So what happened? From an ordinary Jim Brown, he became extraordinary because he took responsibility irrespective of the circumstances. So people say, to add just a lighter tone, our beloved Prime Minister Modi ji says, "Achhe din laenge." It's right. He's trying his best. I'm not disputing that. But unless you try to bring your achhe din, unless you try to improve your circumstances, achhe din, even if Modi ji brings, will not benefit you. So what is in your hand, take a responsibility and change yourself. Next in line is another trainer, or not a trainer, a simple man. His name is Muhammad Yunus. Muhammad Yunus was born in Bangladesh, did his PhD in economics, and he had some passion to help the poor people. He was thinking, why these people are poor? Why nobody helps them? And he went to the banks and asked them to give loans. Nobody agreed to give loans to these poor people. And then he found that these poor people were going to the money lenders and giving heavy interest rates. And so they were not able to benefit, and money lenders were gobbling up all their profits. So he said, "What is this? I have to do something about it." And he said, "What can I do?" So he started in a small way something called a Grameen Bank. And he went into the villages, approached women and said, "I'll give you some loan." On his own started giving loans, and on his own ways he started giving loans. Collaterals, he said, "Okay, 10 women, I'll give 1,000 rupees each, and you have to return within 1 week. And if one defaults, then it's responsibility of the 9 others." So he taught these women how to take loan, how to return loans and benefit. And from that small start, Grameen Bank became one of the best microcredit banks in the world and revolutionized the economy of Bangladesh. And Muhammad Yunus was given Nobel Prize for Economics. So what happened? This man who was trying to adopt to the system existing tried to help, but it did not. And he did not say, "I'll give up. The banks are not helping. The governments are not helping." And he started on his own, whatever was possible, and then found a way out to help the people. And in fact, now Bangladesh's economy is probably better than India's in many of the ways. So this is what is meant to be extraordinary. All of us, including me, have the potential to become extraordinary and help in a big way the human beings of the entire world. I think this is the last, but person, a very inspiring person. I came to know of him about 10 years back, and then made a lot of research about him, studied his life story. What was the problem with him? He was born in Australia, and when he was born, his parents were shocked that he did not have hands or legs. And worried and whatever it is, but they loved his child so much, they brought him up. Child also was not very bad, but the children around him used to, for example, make fun of him, and he was forced to think why it has happened to him, etc. And there was no medical reason for that because his younger brother was fully normal. And then he was so much upset with his own life that he had depressed and suicidal thoughts. Until he met a librarian who just told him, hey, Nick, you can become a motivational speaker. Something clicked in his mind. He said, okay, what do you mean by that? And then he guided him. This man, Nick, read a lot of books and started speaking on stage and trying to inspire people to overcome their handicaps. The real handicap are not those people who are, say, blind or no arms and limbs. The real handicap is in their mental thinking. Thinking that you're handicapped is the problem. So what he did, he started speaking around the world, and you must have seen his videos. And he did such a wonderful job. Millions of people started following up, listening to him, and changed their lives. He went to such a great extent, he started writing books. He wrote a book called No Limits, No Limbs, No Limits. Can you imagine? And he said that having no limbs is an advantage to him because if he had limbs, he would not have become extraordinary at all. And a few years back, a lady fell in love with him, they married, and now they have 4 kids. What an extraordinary life without limbs. So what about you and me? We are all everything in our lives. Hands, legs, sufficiently wealthy, time, everything. But then we do not have the thought that we should become extraordinary and serve the people around us. So a lot of people are doing this type of trainings around the world, how to become extraordinary, etc., etc. What is unique in our training is we make you an extraordinary person plus a fulfilled person. I will explain in the next slide. What do you mean the extraordinary plus fulfilled? You know, this person is Robin Williams. Robin Williams was an extraordinary actor, not just an actor, but a director, producer, everything. He achieved everything in life. He became extraordinary. But what was missing in his life is something called fulfillment. So what happened ultimately is he hung himself to death. And the reason for this is he went in one way of being extraordinary and forgot the other way of being extraordinary, that is having fulfillment. And success without fulfillment is ultimate failure. And this is what we learn, our special, unique, special USP. Our USP is this. So this is what we do. And fulfillment is what? Fulfillment is a feeling of satisfaction that you get from doing or achieving something useful. Fulfillment is not just monetary success, but is much more. Robin Williams had everything but fulfillment. And that is why I think Tony Robbins, another trainer, says success without fulfillment is ultimate failure. So my dear friends, please don't run blindly behind money or any other endeavor that you feel will make you extraordinary. Always go along with what is known as fulfillment. And in our Alhamdulillah Islam religion, we have this called Alhamdulillah ala kulli halin. So we should be grateful and thankful and fulfilled and happy always, whether something is there or not there. And at the same time, endeavor, try, strive for the better version of our own selves. So this is the end of the training. And if anybody has any questions, I think there will be a lot of questions. We can open the floor for asking questions from all the audiences. And for those who have attended this through YouTube, I think you have access to Mr. Mudassir, who has organized this training. You can get the details of my contact details. And if you have any questions, you can approach me through WhatsApp or email. And I will be more than happy to help you. My whole intention is to help as many people as possible to live an extraordinary and fulfilled life. And I would like to thank Mudassir and his team, the team of UCB, for taking this step and giving me an opportunity to to help people through their channel. Thank you very much. Jazakallah khair. Thank you very much, and back to Mudassir.
जी सर, थैंक यू, जजाकल्लाह खैर। उर्दू कम्युनिटी बहरीन आपका ममनू और मशकूर है कि आपने अपना कीमती वक्त हमारे लिए निकाला। सर, यह इशा का वक्त हो चुका है सर, तो तकरीबन क्या हमारी क्राउड जो है नमाज के लिए निकल चुकी है। तो इंशाल्लाह हम जो भी क्वेरीज रहेंगे इंशाल्लाह मैं आपको फॉरवर्ड करूंगा, सो दैट आई विल बी एक्टिंग एज मीडिएटर बिटवीन द क्वेश्चनर एंड यू सर।
ओके, आप ऐसे ही करें, आप सारे
सर,
क्वेश्चन जो हैं ले लें, एंड देन आप मुझे फॉरवर्ड भी कर दें, एंड उनको मेरे डिटेल दे दें, कॉन्टैक्ट डिटेल्स। इफ दे विश सो दे कैन कॉन्टैक्ट मी डायरेक्ट।
ओके सर, श्योर श्योर।
और आप
ओके सर, थैंक यू,
टच में रहें।
जी